for some Bengals news. At the Growler, we got you. Hot takes, interviews from your host, Paul Dangler Jr.
All right, welcome into the latest edition of the Growler. Shout out to the Bengal boys for just cooking up all kinds of weird stuff for our different types of shows that we have going on here. Special one today. It's kind of like a little solo update show from me. Jay's a little under the weather, but we got to check in on some stuff. I got to check in on you, our Bengal fan. Are you okay? Is everybody okay? Because it's just, you heard it the other day. If you listened to me and Mo the other day on Balls Don't Lie, you know it's exhausting. The fatigue, and then just when you think you are past it, just when you think you're not having to deal with the Jamar Chase conversation continuing, it somehow gets worse than it has been. What a great day it was down at Paycor Stadium and in the indoor facility. I'm going to touch on that. I want to touch on the 53-man roster. I want to get a little bit into the addition of KJ Henry, if that excites you. I want to talk a little bit about the Samaje Perine signing, not here. And just kind of a few news and notes. And also remind you, send in your questions that you have for me. There's a lot has gone on. And we want to cover it. Hude Light tomorrow, myself, Mark Shalafu. Send your questions into the Growler Podcast at gmail.com. The Growler Podcast at gmail.com, and we will get to them. Well, we're going to try. We're going to try to cover some topics. So I'm covering some stuff today. We'll cover stuff tomorrow. Practice this afternoon. And we'll have a little bit on whatever happens there. You just never know. As Zach Taylor said yesterday, we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's brought a lot of different stuff around here. Reminder, 1 week from tonight, we know what that day is going to bring. That is going to bring our season kickoff preview show down at BetMGM Sportsbook, Nation Kitchen and Bar at the Banks. It is going to be so much fun. One of my favorite nights of the year. Myself, Jay, Mark, then a cast of Cincinnati Bengals media, Kelsey Conway, Mike Petralia, you name it, are all going to be down there. And we're going to go through our previews this season. We're going to talk through everything we got. We're going to offer up predictions. We're going to go deep into all these topics about the big picture of the year. We're going to give stuff away. You know how we do it. You show up, you're going to be getting deals. You're going to be getting giveaways. We're going to have a great time. $3 Cincy Lights, $6 Queen City Nacho Trays. All of that stuff is happening. That is down Thursday, 7 o'clock at BetMGM and Nation. That will lead us right into the kickoff of Ravens and Chiefs. I'll be curious when we survey the crowd that night who everyone is rooting for in that one. That will kick off Ravens and Chiefs, and we'll hang out and have drinks and be there watching the games. Hope you guys will do the same with us as we go through all of that. So hopefully we will see you down there. Going to be awesome. Look, BetMGM Nation, it's such a fun venue. Hopefully you guys have been down to a couple of the shows that we've done already down there, between the draft show, the 2 preseason shows that we've done. It's been a great time, a great setup, and we really loved it. It's the exclusive home for all of our live events all year. And maybe we'll give away a bet on the Bengals to potentially win the Super Bowl. Or maybe we'll just do a bet on whether Jamar Chase plays week 1. Both would be fun to put wagers on. I'm not sure where I would handicap it right now. So here's what happened yesterday. Just to give a recap, if you've been lucky enough to not be on social media yesterday or just need a quick catch up on what exactly went down. So on Tuesday, during the post-cuts Zoom, Zach Taylor says that Jamar Chase is going to practice this week. He has been practicing over the weekend, and asked if he's confident he's going to play week 1. The answer was yes. So everyone, oh, yes, so much better. Relief. And then comes yesterday, the first practice that the media is at, because those 2 practices that Jamar participated in, we were not at. And everybody's out there. Stretch is happening. We are all standing looking. Where is Jamar? Where's Jamar Chase? Where's Jamar Chase? I don't see him. Wondering where he is. Everybody's saying, okay, hold your tweets. Let's give him time. Let's give him time to show up. So at 10 after, it was supposed to start when everybody was going through all the stretches. We said, all right, got to tweet it. Jamar's not here. So we all do. The typical response happens. And then a few minutes after that, in comes Jamar Chase, street clothes, sunglasses, walking right essentially through everyone. It was a scene. It was a scene. It wasn't, hey, look at me. It wasn't T.O. on the driveway. But it was a scene. Walking in late so everyone can see it. When everybody's wondering where he's at, comes in street clothes. This was different. This was different than what we had seen because, the head coach had just said he's going to practice, Comfy's going to play, and then to roll in late when everybody's wondering where you're at, and it's a bit of a show, well, it just made it all feel a little bit different. So afterwards, we get comment from Zach Taylor, who says, look, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. This is a day-to-day situation. Jamar's a great dude. We love him. He's important to this team. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And essentially, he's standing there saying, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is just out of my control at this point. I'm trying to explain what's happening. Negotiations go up, they go down. And yesterday was not a good day for them, is kind of the translation of that. And this is where we're at. And so they go forward. We'll see at practice today if Jamar is there. We will see as they go through the mini bye this weekend. They come back on Monday, and we'll get ready for Patriots week. That's Patriots week. Off they go. Practice 1. That's how it goes. We'll see if he's there then, of course. And the exhaustion continues. The interesting thing I thought, just as the response is this was the biggest turn of the tide in terms of the tone of response to this that I saw from people on whether on social or whatever, of just like, whatever, man, just turning against Jamar Chase, who's been by all accounts a absolutely lovable figure for Bengals fans and around here. But there's been rumblings of this, like you see this, and I'm sure people that have been following this, like you heard from me the other day, it's just exhausting. Like, I just don't care anymore. The discourse is ridiculous. He plays or he doesn't play. And all of a sudden it has this turn. And I think people are just kind of throwing their arms up like, enough with this, and turning against Chase pretty hard for the first time. That was maybe the most surprising thing from the reaction that we saw. And I don't blame. This is what happens. I mean, the moment you start complaining about money, it's just going to change the conversation. It's just going to change the way people feel and view. Nobody wants to hear you complaining about the tens and tens of millions of dollars that you're going to make and how you want to make tens and tens more $1 million. And so that's part of it, and that's fine. But it is interesting to see how that response went. All right, that's where it's at. I can't anymore with the deep dives into what does it mean, what's going to happen. I'm with you. I'm with Zach Taylor on this one. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We know what it is. Is he going to sit out week 1? I don't know. Nobody's going to say anything at this point, especially after what happened on Tuesday, about whether that's going to happen or not. Maybe they get a deal done. Maybe they don't. Maybe he plays. Maybe he doesn't. I don't have the heart to dive into the possibilities anymore. We'll update the soap opera. Follow me on Twitter And you can see that. Let's talk about the 53-man roster real quick. No major surprises. Really, the biggest news for me centered around the 2 IR return designations. We wondered if they were going to leave the door open for Myles Murphy to come back after 4 weeks, or earlier than 4 weeks, I should say, but now it's going to be after 4 weeks. They put him on IR return along with Brad Robbins. McKinley Jackson does not go on IR. He has a more promising timeline than them. Now, they could still do that. Now, we did see a IR potential roster gymnastics move happen yesterday when Travion Williams was released when the Bengals picked up edge rusher KJ Henry off of waivers from Washington. I'll get to him in a minute. So you could still see this be a roster gymnastics IR move. Maybe McKinley Jackson still does end up going on IR with designation to return. They could only use 2 IR return spots before the cut. Okay. So it's possible we see that, and that could happen today once all of those things clear, and just keep an eye out for that. So there still could be another move there where we see Jackson still end up on IR or somebody else end up on IR or whatever. That move is yet to come. But even Travion Williams tweeting yesterday, look, it's just roster gymnastics. Everybody calm down. It's going to be good. I'm going to be back. So there is one more shoe to drop as that goes. But the Myles Murphy thing is disappointing. Saw him walking around yesterday. He had the giant brace around his knee and doing the soft hobble. It doesn't look great. And it's just so much hype and excitement around his season. I may have to pull back my double-digit sack pronouncement. This is my fault. This is my fault. I bought too much stock, and now my stock's going down. I still think once you get Myles Murphy back fully healthy, he has potential to be a really big-time impact player and have that breakout season you want. It's just not the way you want to start it. And, once he is fully healthy, with it being the knee, you gotta ramp it up. So that's extra time even when he's back. Oh, we're going to hear it the first couple weeks. Well, I mean, this is kind of his preseason because he missed time and he's got to get back in condition. And so, okay, now you've lost basically the first half of the season between 4 weeks, assuming he's going to maybe be back week 5. We don't totally know on that. And whenever he gets fully ramped up. But, hey, Joseph Osai, here you go. Contract year. Now's your time. You've wanted an opportunity. You've wanted a chance. You've earned it by sticking around, by putting yourself in great shape. And here you are. The third guy in that rotation is going to get a chance to make a big impact. So big month for Joseph Osai is on deck. Other news from Cutdown Day, 12 rookies kept all 10 draft picks. And then Muma Jalmetta and Ryan Rico, the punter, both stick undrafted free agents. Rico, who came over earlier in camp, but still 12 rookies out of the 53. An investment in your own, certainly. And they need this to be a special class. They have to have it. I mean, the bills are piling up. You know what that is. And the only way to properly offset it is going with youth. And they did. And they pushed some people that, weren't getting it done out the door. That happened in the offensive line room. You can really even talk even more about rookies. Jackson Kirkland, he's a UDFA from last year. And he's down there in the backup room next to 7th round rookie Matt Lee. One injury away, right? And so there's just a lot of that happened. Trey Hill back on the practice squad. Jalen Davis was let go. He's still on the practice squad, though. So the biggest thing is how do you keep everybody in the building? And they viewed some of these, maybe like the fifth tight end, Tanner McLaughlin, right? Is he going to be active on game day? No. Is he somebody they could have let go? Absolutely. But the chances of him clearing waivers were not as good as the chances of somebody like Jalen Davis clearing waivers, or Trey Hill, or one of these a little older guys on the back end of those last decisions. So you keep 5 tight ends. They're not keeping 5 tight ends because they're going to be playing them all, or that McLaughlin's like, man, in their plans for right now, he's a future consideration. They've got their big 4 with Gesicki and Sample and Hudson and Eric All, the 4th round pick, who looks great. And so it's just a matter of who can you keep in the building? Who can you keep around? If you need to bring Jalen Davis up against the Chiefs because Mike Hilton or somebody gets hurt, well, you have him right there. You bring him right up. Make sure he's still a part of everything. And so it's kind of, you got to kind of view it through that 69-man lens as much as you do through that 53-man lens. Okay, so we end up with Murphy and Robbins on IR. You got 12 draft picks. You've got the 5 tight ends thing, but really they nobody was picked up on waivers. None of their guys that they let go. They were able to keep everybody in the building that they wanted to keep in the building. And then they added KJ Henry, an edge rusher. This is really a direct response essentially to the Cam Sample, Myles Murphy injuries, just replenish the depth. They like Cedric Johnson, of course, but you want to have some more. I mean, you need to get through a month here. And so you have KJ Henry comes in. He had a really nice preseason for Washington, just didn't make it. He's in his 2nd year. He's a Clemson guy because if you're a Clemson defensive lineman, there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up in Cincinnati. Played opposite Myles Murphy at Clemson. They have the connection there because Marion Hobby used to be the defensive line coach there, and Nick Eason, who used to be the defensive line coach here in Cincinnati, is the defensive line coach in Clemson. And so they've loved going to Clemson for that fact, and these linemen have kind of fit well with them. And hey, if you're looking to replace Myles Murphy, well, why not with somebody who was literally kind of doing it at Clemson? Henry played in 10 games for Washington last year. He had 3 starts, 1.5 sacks, 19 tackles. PFF tracked him with 10 pressures on 155 pass rushes, so 6.2% win rate. Neither of those were particularly great. They were okay, but this preseason looked really good. His win rate was up to about 21%. He had 10 pressures on 51 pass rushes. They had him for a pass rush grade of 80, up around 80, which is very good. And now that's preseason. That's not the same level of competition, but you can see a guy who's gotten better every time he's played, still young, a lot of the athletic profile that they liked, and they were excited about the possibility of him maybe growing into something here. So KJ Henry adds to their edge rush mix. That's the only move. They would have loved to have added one more, but Samaje Perine ends up picking Kansas City after being released by Denver. So, boy, the Perine storyline in week 2 feels like it could be showing back up. Of course, his family, it lives in that area in the Midwest. Denver was appealing to them because it was just a quick, easy flight. So Kansas City being kind of in that same area does make sense for them from a family perspective. But yeah, from a potential opportunity perspective, passes on coming back to Cincinnati. So Perine doesn't land here. Still a chance, I think, of a veteran running back potentially ending up there. Still wondering if Jerick McKinnon's got his feet up somewhere, thinking about it. Maybe you do the full KC Cincinnati villain swap. So we'll see. Or it's just Travion Williams, and they go with 3, and Travion's their 3rd. But mostly that's a 2-man room right now. All those snaps are going to be sapped up by Zach Moss and Chase Brown. So they're set for the moment, but still few bits of roster gymnastics, as Travion was talking about, could be coming our way. All right. One more thing. Jacoby Brissett has been officially named the starter for the Patriots in the opener. So no Drake May, no rookie. You kind of know what Jacoby Brissett is, and that New England offense looks putrid. The Bengals defense should be able to have their way with a truly abysmal offensive line. We'll have more on that, of course, next week when we are doing more of an in-depth preview of the Patriots and everything that is going to be happening in week one. Looking forward to that. Our offense preview show is going to be coming to you early next week. You heard the defense one last week, the full-on offensive show. Excited to bring that to you. And then the full live season prediction show. We'll be doing that live down at BetMGM and Nation, of course. Come down, have some $3 Cincy lights, win a bunch of stuff from our grand prize giveaways, free bets, free gift cards, all of those things that we've been giving away. It's been fun being able to give so much stuff to everybody that comes down. So excited to do that. Hopefully we will see you down there. We'll have our full season preview down there. It's going to be a blast. And then after, we'll post that so you can go and listen to it on Friday on the feed. So there won't be a Who Day Light after that. That'll kind of serve the Who Day Light leading into the season. But we do have Who Day Light tomorrow. So make sure you are checking in on Friday. Send your questions, whatever you have about the season, about Jamar. You just have opinions. You want to talk about flags or chase fatigue. I don't care. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Send it in, thegrowlerpodcast@gmail.com. And Mark and I will peruse through those and pick out all of the best ones and get to as many as we can as we try to get ready for the season. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Certainly appreciate you checking in, and we will talk to you tomorrow on Who Day Light. Have a good one, everybody.